Welcome to the Happiest Place, where we explore how to win at life and achieve your deepest dreams. I'm Brandi Hudson, a performance coach and happiness expert. Each week, we'll dive into practical strategies to help you live your best life by harnessing the power of high vibration emotions. Whether you're looking to improve your relationships, career, health, or overall well-being, this podcast is your guide to creating a life you truly love. Let's get started on your journey to becoming the happiest version of yourself.
And we're back to the happiest place. And what you guys don't see behind the scenes is how much joy Brandi and I have as we're answering these calls and preparing for them. So let's go. The questions today are about finance and business. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. Dear happiest place, I built this company from the ground up, but now I feel trapped by it. The pressure to succeed, manage people, and keep growing feels suffocating. How do I find joy again without feeling guilty for wanting a break?
I love that. I think, first of all, I love to tell people that all the answers are in the pause. So God is in the pause. We're actually 99% space, right? But in the material world, we don't actually take that space. And so we want to know if it's starting to feel suffocating. I assume that if you're a founder and you started this company, that it was from this place of joy, from this place of love. It's something that you were passionate about. And to get that passion back, sometimes we need to create a little space. We need to create a little time. I know you've worked in a lot of startups, Rochelle. What do you see?
I think there is this interesting sort of pressure. For me, it's a good pressure, right? That comes with helping someone build something or building your own thing, right? You feel super engaged. And yes, it's joy. And then comes in the part where other people are helping you with your dream, or you have to explain that joy to someone else, or you have to sort of share that joy to help power someone else's movement toward your dream. So I can understand the suffocation piece. How do we think about joy as the work? Finding joy as the work, right? The job and the vision will come because we already have that. You talk about we can only solve it ourselves. How is joy the work? How do you make the work more joyful?
That's kind of the work I do with people every day, is ensuring that we're actually working on something that's aligned with our purpose, right? Because when we can work for so many different reasons, we can work for prestige, we can work for money, we can work for because we were just taught that that's what we had to do. And anytime we're doing something for a reason that's external to us, we will start to feel that pressure. We will start to feel that overwhelm, that feeling of suffocating, right? And so we want to first step back and just say, is this even what I want to be doing with my life? And if
Yeah.
it isn't, maybe you can't immediately disentangle from it, but you want to build a plan around it, right? And then you can say, if it is, you can say, what parts of this are my genius? What parts of this am I so good at that I never want to let them go? And then what parts do I need to delegate and to let other people be in their genius to deliver those aspects of the work? And then we have to make sure that we are a person who is able to delegate, who is able to let go, because oftentimes our own overwhelm, our own suffocation comes from the fact that we can't let go. We don't trust others to
With our
deliver
baby.
can, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I have a friend, she's a founder, and I love saying she's a founder, who is a veritable idea factory. And what happens is these ideas are powerful and they're world changing, and they genuinely are. I'm not just saying that because she's my friend, but there comes this time in the process where she has so many ideas, there's so many irons in the fire. And it's an interesting problem to have, right? How do you contain, or how do you transform rather your approach to putting those pieces of joy out in the world without burning out? How do you do that?
Well, I mean, I think that goes back to the delegation. If you're the visionary, right, then you need to have a vision and a timeline around the vision. And then you surround yourself with team members who can focus on the execution of the vision,
So I
right?
don't have to do everything. I don't have to run everything. I found that, some you look at some of these companies that we hear about in the news and they're, gosh, man, the founder maybe shouldn't be leading the team. How do you have that conversation with yourself? Yes, you have the vision, but maybe you're not the one to execute. Or executing isn't what you were meant to do. Maybe you were meant to bring the idea into the world and that was your job.
This is where we've talked about this before, but I'm going to keep coming back to this. This is where we have to be so connected to ourselves and so clear on what is our genius. What am I really, really gifted at doing? And how do I just do that all the time?
Do you have an example of anyone you think that does this really right in the world, or by appearance's sake does this really, really well?
Someone in the world who is really good at being in their genius. I've heard
Okay.
that Ray Dalio, who founded Bridgewater, is really good at that, just having people do exactly what they're excellent at and nothing more, nothing less. And I've seen it in fits and spurts, but I think that it's genuinely hard for people, especially in the early stages of their company, to let go.
Yeah.
Do you know of anyone who's brilliant at it?
Gosh, I think I don't, and I wonder if it's because they're so busy executing. They're so busy not feeling suffocated that the proof is what we're seeing they're building. I think everyone obviously has people they admire in business. I think the people that we tend to read about are the folks that are on the other side of it. So people that have retired or people that are on podcasts. There was a gentleman who's in the music industry, I forget his name, and he was just, I don't have any musical talent, but my ear is great. And that was just such a self aware statement. Plus, you can see the proof in what has been delivered. But I wonder if we don't become that example for ourselves. If we look at sort of your methodology and say, if I understand me in the same way that I will figure out who I'm supposed to be with as a partner, in the same way I'm supposed to be able to figure out what boundaries to set for myself, in the same way that I'm able to set my own standards and expectations, maybe it is not about looking at someone from the outside world who might have a different set of variables that they're dealing with and looking within ourselves. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have all the answers. And it's funny because when I was working on my book proposal and I had a developmental editor, Julie, she's amazing. Shout out to Julie. And
Hey,
she would
Julie.
say, okay, Brandi, we can't tell people that they have all the answers. No one wants to hear that. Right?
You
We
want
are
them
going
to
to
buy
tell
the book.
people they have all the answers because the reason no one wants to hear it is because it becomes a great deal of responsibility,
Yeah.
but it's also this beautiful place of power, right? If I have all the answers, then I don't actually need you to tell me what to do. We still will always need people to be in community and to build together, but to need you as my compass is very different from being in community with you. And so I think that we do want to know that we have all the answers. We do want to know that we are these sovereign beings that can really, really guide our own ships just so astutely when we want to.
I'm looking back at the question again, and one of the things that strikes me about it is this sentence. It goes, the pressure to succeed, manage people, and to keep growing feels suffocating. I always wonder where that pressure comes from, right?
Oh,
And how we
pressure.
just tune out those
Yeah.
external voices.
I don't think it's ever as external as we think it is, right? Because we are able to create boundaries with people, but I think we are early in our lives, we are directionally focused to be achievers, to accomplish, to succeed, and we can opt in or opt out of that, right? And so we have to realize that at some point the pressure is personal.
The
We
pressure is
think it's
personal.
yeah, we think it's our investors, we think it's our parents, we think it's our partners, we think it's I've got to be successful for this team, but it's really personal and we just try to make it about other people.
Okay, so then what do you do next, right? So I have the idea. I've done the work to understand what drives me. I've found the joy again. How do I maintain that joy?
Oh, every day you opt in. And, I think we've talked a lot about what are the things that keep us centered in a place of joy, right? First, it's quieting our mind. Second, it's being connected to ourselves, right? And and it's raising our happiness set point, right? So it's taking all these steps every single day away from work. So I think I started the answering this question really about being in that pause, being in that space, being in the nothingness, right? And in there is the genius, in there are all the answers, right? And so the more that we can create that space, the more we can create that pause, then we're going to attract more joy to ourselves. And so the work is really and truly about quieting our minds, choosing joy. It sounds so simple, but each and every day waking up and choosing to be in this place of joy, right? Releasing everything that isn't in service to that joy, right? So anything that feels heavy, anything that feels dense, right? And what people don't realize is you've been waiting your whole life to be the founder, to be the boss, to be the leader, to be the CEO, so that you could direct your own course. And then you get there and you aren't directing your own course, because what you realize is you could have been directing it the whole time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because of the title that you weren't directing it. It was just because you didn't opt in.
So you talked about, you kept saying space, taking up space or finding the space. And you started the space conversation by saying, 90%, or I forgot what percentage you use, is just space. What does that mean?
Literally,
Opportunity? Is it?
in our body is just space. We are just space. Our atoms are actually just bouncing off each other, and there's so much space in our body. And most of the world, we look out into the world and we think it's concrete, but it's all actually just space. There's so much space, but we try to fill all the space with things and actions. And what we really need to do is embrace the space. We need to mirror the world around us, and the world around us is actually in the pause, in the space, right? But we are always trying to fill it because that feels home, that feels comfortable. But the way that you build a life that feels as good as it looks is to take as much time and space as you need, and to know that from that place, you'll actually be far more successful than you're currently imagining. We want to take time for ourselves, and we want to every day set an intention to be in a place of joy. And that's how we build a life that feels as good as it looks.
All right. That's it for this question. Thanks, folks.
Until next time, bye.
Thank you for tuning in to The Happiest Place. Remember, your dreams are meant for you, and you have the power to create the life you desire. Don't forget to send in your questions for future episodes. I'm here to help you on your path to happiness and success. Until next time, stay curious, take radical responsibility, and keep vibrating high.